Ladies, let's talk facts. Men lean in too. Because if you ever wondered what makes a woman feel seen, safe, and so irresistibly drawn to you that she chooses you over and over again, it all comes down to one thing. It's not money. It's not looks. It's not even status. It's a feeling. A very specific, deeply human, emotionally anchored feeling that every woman craves, even if she never says it out loud. And today, I'm going to break it down for you. Simply, clearly, truthfully. Because once you understand this feeling and how to create it, you stop chasing, stop manipulating, and start attracting women who want to stay. Women love the feeling of emotional safety. Let me say it plain. If she doesn't feel emotionally safe with you, she will never truly attach to you. What is emotional safety? It's when a woman feels she can show you her truth, her thoughts, her fears, her joy, her weirdness, and not be judged, dismissed, or punished for it. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her nervous system relaxes, her walls drop. She doesn't feel like she has to earn your love. She feels like she can receive it. If you roll your eyes when she's vulnerable, if you shut down when she's expressive, if you punish her for having feelings, you're making her body feel unsafe. And her body will always remember that. So if you want to give her a feeling she loves, be the place where her emotions don't need armor. Women love the feeling of being chosen. Now neediness repulse. Presence attracts. You know what women love? When a man doesn't need her to complete him, but still chooses her intentionally, every day, without pressure, without possession. We love when you show us, I have a life. I have a purpose. I'm whole, but I choose you because I see your value, not because I'm scared to be alone. That's powerful. That's rare. That makes a woman feel seen and safe to lean in, because when you don't need her, she feels free. And when she feels free around you, she's drawn to you, not out of fear, but from desire. That's the magnetic pull. That's the feeling. Women love the feeling of being you and dear sto d. Note fake sido, when a woman opens up, she doesn't want your quick solutions. She wants to know, do you get me? The deepest intimacy isn't built through logic. It's built through connection. That means listening to understand, not listening to respond. Women feel deep emotional intimacy with men who can sit in her world for a moment and not try to rush her out of it. So next time she shares something, don't reach for the fix. Reach for the feeling behind her words. Reflect it back. Say, I hear you. That makes sense. You're allowed to feel that. When she feels understood, not managed, she will relax. And when a woman relaxes, she connects. And that's when you become unforgettable. Women love the feeling of consistency. No ty. Anyone can come in hot and heavy, say all the right things, flood her with affection, give her that rush. But can you be stable? Because intensity without consistency, that's emotional chaos, and she will eventually protect herself from it. Women love the feeling of emotional reliability. That means your actions match your words. That means your affection doesn't disappear when she says no. That means your energy isn't based on your mood or your ego. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be predictable in the ways that matter. Because to a woman who has known confusion and emotional roller coasters, a consistent man is irresistible. So, what's the feeling women love? It's not hype. It's not dominance. It's not flash. It's the feeling of safety over suspense, being chosen over being needed, being understood over being fixed, consistency over chaos. This is what we remember. This is what we crave. This is what makes us stay. Because when you can give a woman this feeling, she doesn't just feel loved. She feels anchored. She feels cherished. She feels home. And that's the most powerful connection there is. When a woman doesn't feel emotionally safe, everything in her body tightens. She may smile. She may laugh. She may even go along with things for a while, but inside, her nervous system is scanning for exit signs. Because no matter how handsome you are, how charming, or how successful, if she doesn't feel like she can be her full, unfiltered self around you, something inside her will withhold. She will protect herself, and she might not even know why. It's not always conscious. It's instinct. Emotional safety isn't a luxury for women. It's a biological necessity. It's what tells her, I can breathe here. I can say what I really feel. I can let my guard down and not be punished for it. Because women don't open up because you told them to. They open up when they feel like it's actually safe to. And that safety comes from how you respond when she's not performing for you, when she's not being cool, chill, or low maintenance. It's when she's messy, honest, soft, angry, insecure, vulnerable. That's when her body is asking, can I show this part of me and still be loved? If you make her feel like her emotions are too much, if you roll your eyes, go silent, or make her feel crazy for how she feels, she learns that your love has conditions. She learns she can't bring all of herself to the table. And when a woman feels like she has to cut pieces of herself off just to keep your affection, she may stay for a while. But she won't stay connected. She'll grow distant. She'll start filtering her truth. And that's the slow death of intimacy. On the flip side, when you listen without trying to fix her, when you respond without defensiveness, when you say, it's okay to feel that way, or I'm here even when it's messy, you give her something rare. You give her the green light to be real. And that's powerful. Because most women are so used to being judged for their feelings, told they're too sensitive, or made to feel guilty for expressing anything that isn't convenient for the man they're with. When you become the exception to that pattern, you don't just stand out. You become unforgettable. And here's the part that matters. Emotional safety isn't about being perfect. It's not about knowing all the right things to say. It's about presence. It's about non-reactivity. It's about being able to hold space for her without needing her to be anything but herself in that moment. When she feels that from you consistently, she doesn't just open up. She starts to bloom. She starts to give more, not because she's obligated, but because her heart feels free. And when a woman's heart feels free around you, there's almost nothing she won't give. That's what creates real intimacy. Not just attraction, not just connection, but deep emotional trust. The kind of trust that builds long-term love, not based on fear, but based on truth. There is a huge difference between a man who needs a woman to feel whole and a man who chooses her from a place of already being whole. And believe me, women can feel that difference. She can feel it in your energy, in your expectations, in your silence, in your presence. And what she wants, what she responds to deeply, is not the pressure of being your emotional crutch, but the power of being seen and chosen freely, without obligation. You see, when a man comes from a place of neediness, he doesn't realize it, but he's subtly asking her to fill in the gaps in his self-worth. He's asking her to become the solution to his loneliness, the cure for his lack of direction, the emotional plug for every hole he hasn't patched within himself. That energy feels heavy. It feels unsteady. It feels like a job she didn't apply for. And over time, it starts to feel less like love and more like pressure. On the other hand, when a man lives from purpose, when he stands firm in who he is, when he's grounded with or without a relationship, that is magnetic. Because he's not asking her to complete him. He's offering to build with her. And that's a completely different experience. It tells her, I'm here because I want to be, not because I need to be. I choose you, not from fear, but from clarity. That feeling, that's what women crave. Not the kind of attention that's desperate or performative, but the kind of attention that says, I see your value and I want to meet you there. Women want to be chosen from a place of empowerment, not emotional dependency. Because when you choose someone, not because you're afraid to be alone, but because you genuinely respect, appreciate, and admire who they are, it shows. Your energy is different when you don't need her to validate you. You're not chasing. You're not trying to constantly prove something. You're not anxiously waiting for her every move. You're just there, steady, rooted, present. And that presence makes her feel safe to lean in. It makes her trust you because she knows you're not going to collapse if she has a bad day. You're not going to fall apart if she sets a boundary. You're not with her just to avoid being alone. You're with her because she adds to a life that's already full. That's rare. And it's deeply attractive. So don't focus on being everything for her. Focus on being everything for you first. Let your life speak for itself. Let your purpose drive your actions. Let your own wholeness be the reason you're calm, patient, and intentional in love. Because when a woman feels that you don't need her, but still choose her, that's when she feels the most desired, the most respected, the most free. And that kind of freedom makes her want to stay. There's a moment in every relationship where a woman opens up and reveals a part of herself that isn't polished. Maybe she's overwhelmed. Maybe she's anxious. Maybe she's overthinking, spiraling, or just plain emotional. And in that moment, what she's really asking, without saying it outright, is simple, do you understand me? Not, can you fix it? Not, can you solve me? But can you sit with me in this for a minute? Can you hear me without trying to control it? Most men, even with the best intentions, get this part wrong. The moment a woman expresses discomfort, pain, or uncertainty, they immediately jump into action, offering advice, correcting her thinking, pointing out solutions. And it's not that those things are inherently bad. It's that they're premature. They interrupt the emotional process. They override the connection in favor of control. And that leaves her feeling not closer to you, but more alone. You have to understand, most women are not looking for a solution. They're looking for resonance. They're asking, do you feel me? Can you step into my shoes for a second and just understand where I'm coming from? And when you can do that, when you pause long enough to really hear her, to reflect back what she's saying, to make her feel seen instead of managed, something powerful happens. She softens. She breathes. Her nervous system calms because she's not used to that. She's used to having to shrink her emotions so she doesn't scare someone away. She's used to being labeled as dramatic or too sensitive. She's used to being met with frustration, impatience, or distance. So when you don't do that, when you stay present with her emotion instead of trying to push it aside, you give her something rare. You show her she's safe. You prove to her that you don't see her feelings as a threat, but as a window into her soul. And that's where real connection lives, not in the advice you give, but in the empathy you offer. Because here's the truth. Women fall in love with understanding, with being mirrored emotionally, with being able to express themselves without walking on eggshells or being too much. They remember how you made them feel about their feelings. That's the part they carry with them long after the moment passes. So next time she's upset or overwhelmed or just needs to talk, don't rush to fix it. Stay, breathe. Listen, say things like, that makes sense, or you're allowed to feel that way, or even just, I'm here. That's not weakness. That's emotional intelligence. And that's the kind of strength women trust. Because when a woman feels understood, not corrected, not lectured, not managed, but truly understood, she starts to trust you with her inner world. And that trust is the foundation of everything lasting and meaningful in love. Intensity is exciting, but consistency is safe. And women might be drawn in by intensity at first. It feels passionate, spontaneous, even a little intoxicating. But what keeps her? What makes her trust you? Relax into the relationship and give you the softest, most loyal parts of herself. That comes from consistency. Because intensity without consistency is just emotional turbulence. It creates highs and lows that are hard to predict. And for a woman, that's not thrilling. It's exhausting. Any man can make grand gestures, pour on the affection, say the perfect words in the beginning. But where are you when the excitement fades? Where are you when she's not looking her best, when she's moody, when the spark isn't instant? That's the test. That's where she starts to measure your emotional reliability. And emotional reliability means this. She knows what version of you she's going to get. Not perfection, not constant positivity, but stability. That you don't disappear when things aren't convenient. That your tone doesn't shift drastically depending on your mood. That she doesn't have to guess where she stands with you. Because that guessing game, that's what breaks down trust faster than anything else. Women love the feeling of knowing that your love isn't dependent on how easy she is to deal with that day. That your consistency isn't conditional. That when you say you care about her, you mean it in the moments she's smiling and the moments she's distant. When you can be the same steady presence, no matter what emotional storm she's moving through, she starts to relax. And when a woman relaxes, she connects. And when she connects, she gives more, freely, joyfully, without fear. The problem is, we've been sold this lie that love is about constant excitement and intensity. That if it's not dramatic, it's not real. But that's not love. That's instability. That's nervous system addiction. And a woman who's healing, a woman who values her peace, is not going to choose the guy who burns hot one day and cold the next. She's going to choose the man who shows up, not just in words, but in behavior. So stop trying to impress her with how intense you can be for a week. Show her how consistent you can be over time. Respond to her messages the way you did in the beginning. Keep your tone warm. Keep your promises. Be emotionally available even when you're tired. That's what stands out in a world full of men who overpromise and underdeliver. Consistency is what makes a woman feel emotionally secure. And when she feels secure, she opens, she flourishes, she chooses you again and again. Not because you overwhelmed her senses, but because you gave her the one thing most men never offer a stable place to love from. So here's the truth. Women don't fall for the loudest guy in the room. They don't stay for the one who makes the biggest promises or says all the right things up front. They stay for the man who knows how to make her feel. Not confused, not pressured, not like she has to audition for love, but seen, safe, chosen, understood, and steady. Because the feeling she's looking for isn't something you can fake. It's not about saying the perfect line or mastering some tactic. It's about who you are when no one's watching. It's about how grounded you are in yourself. It's about how you show up consistently, not just when it's convenient or exciting. She wants to feel like she can exhale around you, like she doesn't have to shrink to keep you, like she can bring her full self to the table, her softness, her strength, her feelings, her fears, and you won't flinch. That's emotional maturity. That's masculine presence. That's what makes her feel safe to open and inspired to stay. Because the kind of man who can give her that feeling, he's not easily replaced. He becomes unforgettable, not because he overwhelmed her, but because he made her feel at home in her own heart while standing next to his. So if you're wondering what women truly love, it's this. Don't be intense. Be consistent. Don't try to fix her. Try to understand her. Don't need her to complete you. Choose her from a place of wholeness. And above all, Don't make her guess if it's safe to love you. Show her that it is. That feeling, that's what keeps her. That's what changes her. And that's what love is built on.